Hey everybody, welcome to the user dev meeting, and I think we'll go ahead and get started. We've got enough people. So I've pasted the agenda in the chat there so everybody can see it, and feel free to write your name next to attendees. It's always good to see who the regulars are. All right, so I think I wonder if I can share my screen on. Well, Anthony, would you actually be able to share your screen? I don't want to mess up the recording on the agenda, if possible.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't mean to put you on the spot.
Is it working? Yes. Okay, cool.
I still see a black on my end, but that might just be me. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right, so the first topic on the agenda, I thought we could review progress with the previous action items we identified. So this, we won't spend too much time, but I wanted to go through the list and see if there were any from your point of view that's getting neglected or that needs an update. Otherwise, I think we'll make sure to do like what we do for all components, like a little bug scrub, if you will, of going through each of the issues and seeing if we can get them assigned. We won't necessarily get through every issue in this meeting since there are other topics, more important topics, but that's what I'll be doing, and making sure that all the issues get assigned. But Anthony, would you like to click on that link there next to review progress with previous action items that shows all the trackers? And then if you could share your screen on that one. Perfect. Oh, Casey was, or just a thumbs up. Okay. I think that was just a thumbs up. All right, so the issues are all mostly documentation, feature enhancements. A lot of them are assigned and in progress. So I know the ones that we've talked about recently, like the ones having to do with the balancer upmap remapped, that one is assigned to me, and that one is in progress for sure. A couple of the others are in progress as well. But I wanted to take a second, if anybody on this call wants to point out a particular issue that should be prioritized or that you think should be.
I don't have anything that is on the list. But
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I don't have anything on this list that I need to prioritize, but I am quite unhappy with the fact that disaster recovery tools for CFFS or the MDS itself sometimes consume a lot of memory and can easily eat through 2 terabytes of swap. We currently have a customer cluster where I am running the recover the entries tool, and without the range option, it's happily choose through 2 terabytes of swap and crashes.
Okay, so is that relating to the first tracker that's on the list there, suggestions to improve? Let's click on that one. Or is this a new issue?
In theory, yes, because it would be great if the documentation suggests what to do if a particular step takes too much time, or how else was it observed to fail in real life.
Okay. Anthony, would you mind clicking on that tracker there just to see what the content is? Yeah, so this came from the power users session. Can anything be done to document or automate the recovery process? Does that relate to the issues that you're experiencing, or do we need a new tracker?
I think it is related, but does not exactly cover the issue.
Okay.
So
jump in here because we have seen similar problems of what Alex was mentioning. So I think that this tracker is actually about the documentation, is not about
Right.
tools which are crashing OOM while you're attempting some recovery steps. So I think that the two things are a
Oh, I
bit
see.
different. I have the impression that the documentation has somewhat improved with respect to the last time I was checking that out. I have the feeling that some of the steps are not 100% ironed out, especially for what concerns the event where you have severe corruption or lost PGs in the metadata pool. You have to go through the recovery, the entry procedures. The steps are not fully consistent if you are attempting to recover within the existing metadata pool, or if you're attempting to recover by provisioning a new metadata pool and rebuilding your metadata by scanning the entire data pool. So people could get confused there. And I think it would be extremely helpful to have someone looking into that to actually make sure that the documentation is correct. There are also a few steps. Typically, it's the data scan links, etc., that can be parallelized. Maybe it is like you can define at the very beginning a number of workers, and then you can run these very many workers in parallel. That is also not fully consistent. Um, so, yeah, I think that the general review would be very beneficial, but I guess that only very expert, either developers or operators, can confirm on that. And I still agree with what is written in the description of this tracker. Um, the previous incarnation of the documentation and still the existing one are basically telling you at the very top, if you don't know what you're doing, just don't do anything, because you can do further damage. I agree with that, but it's not necessarily very helpful when you are in crisis mode. Um, I think that, however, to close on a positive spin, some huge dawns have been documented. They were not there before. There are things that definitely do not help recovery when you are facing some CFFS issues. So I think that these are now there in documentation. So I think a first pass has been done and things have improved. There are a few steps which are not 100% clear yet. I can, if you want me to, I can at least report my experience in this tracker with some more precise indication on what might need a second pass. What do you think? Would that make sense?
Yeah, I think that sounds really good. If we need to improve upon what was proposed in here, I think that sounds good. And then,
Yeah.
so I'm also getting that there are problems with tooling, though. Can you describe more about that?
Sure. Well, I think this depends a bit, case by case. But in a controlled environment, I was trying to go through the entire procedure, including recovering metadata using an alternate metadata pool. And there are many steps which are documented. You have to do the data scan of the whole data pool. And there is one step, I think it's actually the last one, which is these data scan links. where the process is actually crashing OOM. And okay, I have not reached yet the level of 2 terabytes of swap, but okay, it would be first extremely beneficial to know a priori if some of these tools do require a huge amount of memory. Also because they take very, very long to execute. So if you know upfront that you need, I don't know, a node with half a terabyte or 1 terabyte of memory, maybe you can provision it at the very beginning of the recovery process without crashing halfway through because of OOM and then restarting it all over. And secondly, okay, I think this should not really happen. I mean, if you're hosting a file system which typically works on an MDS that probably has cache memory limit set to 64 gigs or maybe even less, maybe even 32, I think it would come as a surprise to many the fact that running some recovery tools actually need like much more memory than just operating the service. But this is like another consideration. So okay, maybe it can be fixed in documentation. Maybe the tool can also be fixed. So I'm happy to open another tracker with my experience in particular. So my experience in particular is around scanned links. I don't know if Alexander's experience was precisely about scanned links, but it looked like the same issue on both sides.
My issue was with recovered the entries, and I was able to sidestep it by providing it with the dash range parameter and splitting the journal to be replayed into multiple pieces. But there is no tooling to figure out the actual number that denotes the start of the journal. There is no hint in the doc that the dash range option even exists and can help against going out of memory.
Right.
Maybe it's a good idea to add it. It's a cheap one.
Okay.
And the progress indicator would also be a nice thing. I also see that there is a feature 63191 exactly about this, and there is a patch. Does actually anyone have any report of a tool that doesn't have a progress indicator and they wished the tool had it?
So the question is, can you repeat the question?
Does anyone have a wish list for a progress indicator in some tool? I know there is a tracker for it, but it only concerns the scan links and recover the entries. But maybe there is something else that needs a progress indicator that I haven't hit yet, but you did. I pasted the link to the chat.
Anybody else feel the same or have any other thoughts about progress feature?
Oh yeah, if we could have those. Absolutely.
Okay, so then this feature, Alexander, that you pasted is about providing an estimate completion time for offline tools during Ceph data scan. So you're talking about you want something slightly different.
This ticket as written is limited to Ceph data scan. There is a comment at the bottom. That it also got implemented for recover the entries. But surely those are not the only tools that need the progress. That's the question to the audience.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely, I don't think we have anybody from Cephas on the call. I'm not sure, Anthony, if you can ping Patrick or somebody if he can get on the call. But either way, I think the best thing would be to create a ticket explaining this, and then we'll get some input from the Cephas team about what they think, because clearly there's already interest with this other ticket, and it has been, I think it's fixed under review, it looks like. Yeah, fixed under review, but there's clearly some interest with that at least. So would be worth creating maybe a related tracker, or even just adding on to this one. Well, probably a second one would be best, just to separate the two, since we already have a pull request for this one.
Okay, I will duplicate the comment as a separate ticket.
Cool. Yeah,
So-
that also helps me track things better with the, all the different things and adding the user dev tags. So yeah, that'll be helpful. Go ahead, Enrico.
I think that was me.
Oh, or
yes,
Frederick.
I was to ask. I was to ask Alexander. Since you obviously your command says that you don't know the end of the journal, and you have to iterate with the range argument. You have to iterate through different ranges of the journal to recover de-entries. How did you ended up doing this? Like, for example, adding more ranges until the command ends with increasing ranges and so on?
Okay, let me explain what I did, but this is definitely not something I recommend. So, first of all, the journal has a beginning and an end. And if you specify a range that falls completely before the beginning, then the command scan the entries, recover the entries, will scan through the whole journal, will find nothing that intersects. It will take about 3 hours on that particular cluster, and importantly, it will not consume memory, and it will print that it did nothing. So I did, let's say, manual binary search, interrupting the tool if it started to consume memory. And so here is how I found the beginning of the journal. I confirmed that before that the scan was quick. Then I started adding really small ranges. So added, for example, 1 million to the end. So the difference between the beginning and the end is 1 million. Looked whether Ceph journal to recover the entries used too much RAM or not. In this case, it didn't. Then when it finished, I moved the old end to the new beginning, added 2 million, see if it consumes too much memory. No. Move the old end to the new beginning, add, let's say, 10 million, and so on, until it started operating on a large enough chunks so that the process is more or less efficient. But I don't know how many chunks are left. I don't know where the real end is. So I determined the beginning by watching the memory consumption. Then I started increasing the length, excluding the already processed range, but I don't know how much of that is left.
Okay, sounds complicated and tricky somehow. So yeah, maybe Laura, having this, but the work is already done. I mean, on this tracker, like the one to provide an estimate completion time for offline tools. that would be some easy stuff to have, like, because it's like when you're on those critical situations, then you would like to know how much time this will take, because the customer will probably most of the time, or the user most of the time, will ask this question first, like, how many times will this take, and will my user be able to access their file systems tomorrow morning or on Monday morning, for example. So that's probably something that I would recommend, like, prioritizing among the list that you've shared.
Yeah, this
Okay.
also makes sense from the business perspective, in terms of saving customers money, because if they determine that it would be faster for them to create a new file system to restore the backup, sure, they don't pay us. They do everything themselves by restoring the backup. We have some other more pleasant work to do.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, the PR is open already, which is great, at least for this this particular what was it? Cephafest data scan progress. And let's see, it was. I'm just checking the how old the PR is to see if there's been any traction or if it's getting forgotten. Okay, there was a comment on it 2 days ago, so it's and Vinky's reviewing it. So I don't know for which release this is planned, but we can ask about that on the uh, on the tracker. We can ask Vinky what release it's for. But yeah, the work is already ongoing for this, so um, I hope that will be helpful, at least for Cephafest data scan.
So there are backports for Squid and Tentacle. Oh,
Yeah,
and also
yeah.
Reef. Okay.
Yeah, Reef is going end of life soon. We're doing, I think, the last release uh, coming up now that we've released Tentacle. So I don't know if for sure if it will get into Reef, but it looks like Squid and Tentacle.
Oh yeah, Vanky removed it from Reef. I mean, he
Yeah.
excluded Reef. Okay, it would be nice to have it on Reef, in Reef, I guess, because many of us and many users and customers will probably use Reef for several months. From, like, again, I mean, from now, they will be probably using Reef, and I mean, even though it's already been deprecated, right, in June, I think. But yeah, it would be nice to have it in Reef. I'm not sure. Maybe if Vanky removed it, possibly there's something that prevents any
Yeah, the
compatibility.
only thing
Maybe that's yeah.
the only thing I'm thinking of is just that Reef is going end of life soon, but it doesn't hurt to ask about it on the tracker to see if it can be included in Reef.
Yeah.
Let's see. My screen isn't shared right now, obviously, but I'm on the tracker of tools Cephafest provide an estimate completion time, that one. So I'm going to comment. I'll leave a comment asking Vinky if there's any chance that we can have it in Reef. Just doesn't hurt to ask.
May I have a comment here? So as we're always discussing about backports and releases going deprecated, it would be interesting to understand how much intertwined are the recovery tools with the rest of the packages. Meaning, could we, for instance, use the recovery tools from Squid or Tentacle on a Reef cluster with all the latest, greatest additions, including the progress bar on the recovery? This is a question. I don't know, because then operators and users would be generally, let's say, forced to upgrade to the latest, greatest version out to probably get some features, which I fully agree with. but some others do not necessarily jump on the latest, greatest immediately. So it would be curious to know if there are some hard dependencies between the recovery tools and the rest of the code base, or if some compatibility is still possible.
This is especially important because some vendors, including Croyd, do not provide Squid due to the reported bug that Squid reported OSDs are crashed, which is pending backport immediate bug 70390.
Yeah, the elastic shared blob bug, right?
Yeah, we still get customers who get bit by this issue, and for container users, there is simply no way to avoid this bug. In fact,
it's a good question. Go ahead, Alexander.
In fact, I would even, okay, I know that I am too bold now, but I would ask for a health warning if there is any OSD in the cluster that was initially deployed on a buggy Ceph version.
That was initially deployed on what?
On a Ceph version affected by this elastic blob bug.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
So that there is a really critical message in Ceph Health Detail telling users that their OSDs are in danger and need to be redeployed one by one.
Okay. Interesting question for the Blue Store folks. I don't know if we have anybody specifically on the call, but I can see what Adam Kupchak thinks.
Alex, that means that the OSDs would have to be able to report that to the managers. I mean, I think you're the one that has shared on the Ceph user list how to identify those OSDs with the Ceph Blue Store tool. Grab some command to identify if those OSDs were created with the elastic shared blob thing enabled in by default.
This is not exactly what I meant, and I only relayed information received from others. I think that the version created field already exists in Ceph OSD, in the output of the Ceph OSD metadata. And yes, and that's what I want the warning to be based on. If there is any OSD created between 19.2.0 and 19.2. When it was fixed, report as a health.
Yeah, I see, but that wouldn't be enough because you might also we have some customers, for example, that have been deploying Squid OSDs with the elastic shared blob feature enabled, and we're asking them to redeploy those OSDs with the elastic shared blob disabled feature disabled, and so this warning or critical message would still pop after the OSDs have been redeployed in Squid with the elastic shared blob disabled. So it would have to be something a bit more into the how the OSDs Blue Store structure has been made when the OSDs was deployed, and the OSDs would have to report that to the managers, I think, because otherwise the only way to discover if the OSDs are prone to this bug is by running this command that you have shared on the Ceph user list, I believe, which is a Ceph Blue Store tool, something looking for the elastic shared blob flag somehow in the output of the command, and that would be run offline. And so it's not that super easy to do, I think. What are you asking?
I think I think then yes, OSDs should be able to report, for example, in Ceph OSD metadata, whether elastic blobs are active. Yeah. And then the condition for the warning would be that the version created was the buggy one, and the elastic blobs are active.
Yeah, agree. Okay. That would be nice. So let's do a tracker for that.
I agree.
Okay, I will.
I'm thinking there's so many interesting topics being discussed, but not all the developers are here to give feedback. So I'm almost thinking about creating like summarizing what we've talked about and creating like an email thread just so some people can follow up. But I'm definitely going to bug more people to join the next call because the whole point is real-time feedback. So I'll make sure that happens better next time. All right. Yeah. Creating a tracker, that would be good for that one as well. I hate to keep asking people to create trackers, but it's really helpful to me at least to help send those to the right people and, track what we've been talking about. So thank you for everybody who's doing that.
Thanks for asking. It really helps that to know that I was asked to create a tracker, that it is not shouting into the void, basically.
No, definitely we don't want it to be shouting into the void. Don't want that to be happening. So, I mean, if it's like something that's, not feasible, then that might be the case, but then we can at least get that closure, from the person who's the expert at that type of request. So that's the goal. And maybe we'll make progress with it. That's the ideal. Cool. So I see we have a couple more things on that we haven't touched on. So we've got this tracker 64095. Stefan, did you want to touch on that one?
Is that one I created a long time ago? Actually, I had some new ones put up on the pad, but I haven't looked into the 6.1.
So I was looking at this one before the meeting, and I saw it was resolved.
Okay.
So I was curious what the context was.
Okay. 64795. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's a minor thing, but it's on IPv6 clusters. You will have this exporter not listening on IPv6 addresses, and yeah, I would somehow this got lost or not, but it's still an issue on latest Reef and maybe even on Tentacle release. And yeah, this might be an easy fix. Just make it listen on both IP stacks by default, or propose another solution to this.
So this tracker is about the package not being included in the release, but then now it's included, but there's a problem with it listening or connection.
Yeah, it's not listening on IPv6 interfaces by default.
Oh. Okay. So then, yeah, we should create a new tracker about that. So, and you say it's affecting Reef?
Yeah, still the latest Reef, and I haven't got a cluster on 22 yet with this particular feature enabled, so it might still be there. So yeah, it's something that we would like to have fixed. At least the IPv6 only users out there that are still there would like to have this fixed.
Casey shared a relevant tracker in the chat here. Ceph ADM fails to deploy Ceph exporter on IPv6 only. And then it was rejected. First of all, does that look like your issue?
Actually, there are several things. So there's one thing that the exporter is not listening on IPv6. That's one, and then this is a separate thing that I encountered yesterday again when I was doing maintenance. It's a minor thing, and it's something that you might have an opinion on as Ceph operators. If I schedule maintenance with Ceph ADM for a couple of hosts, well, obviously these hosts might go down, or at least their daemons will get taken down, their containers. And then the health message will be that there's the Ceph fail daemon message, because it cannot reach the daemons. But it could know because I actually scheduled those hosts for maintenance. So I would say this check should be made a little bit smarter. So if it sees that daemons that are in scheduled maintenance should not produce a health warning. So it's basically a false positive. Well, it's
Okay.
yeah. it's a little improvement on the health reporting of a Ceph cluster.
Okay.
But it's
Is anybody else experiencing this problem? Okay, just curious.
At least they are not bothered by it, like I was. It might be a me issue.
It's okay. I was curious. Cool. Yeah, I think we can have somebody from the Ceph ADM team look at that one. So yeah, and so looking at this IPv6 only tracker again, does that address your issue about IPv6 or it not listening on IPv6, or is there something additional going on there? Because I understood your other problem was about the health warning reporting.
Yeah. So there's two separate things. Yeah. So one is the IPv6 issue for the exporter thing, and this is just a separate thing that I didn't make a tracker for yet.
Okay.
Can I comment on the health warning?
Yeah, sure, please. That's why I put it on the list here. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I have not encountered that myself, but from my own personal, I guess, way of doing things, it would be great if the health warning would say that it detected those daemons, but it's okay because those daemons are in maintenance mode, right? So the way it exists right now, the daemons are, I'm not sure what the exact wording is because I haven't seen it, but basically there's a known reason for those daemons to not be in a good state. And so I agree that improving the health warning is a good idea to account for that. But in my view, it's better to say we detected it and it's okay because it's expected, rather than to just kind of not even say that it's been detected by the system. And the reason for that approach is it tells me that the orchestrator or Ceph ADM at some level, I'm not sure what the right level is, but the cluster is aware that those daemons are not in a healthy state, but it's also aware that that's okay because they're expected to be in that state.
Maybe it, yeah. Sorry, yeah, maybe it could issue a mute. So that would be the way it's currently handled. You can just mute items, and then it would automatically mute because it knows, it's scheduled maintenance, so I will just mute those items. I've detected them, but they're expected to be down, so I will just mute them until maintenance is over.
I think what I'm trying to say is that it'd be good to inform the operator in a message that says that explicitly shows that the cluster detected it, but the cluster knows that it's okay because it's expected, as opposed to just not showing it. I'm not sure if the mute would accomplish that or not. I guess I don't fully understand what mute is.
Yeah, mute would you would be displayed.
Okay.
You would see it in Ceph health status. You would see it's okay or a health warn or whatever, and then with some things are muted. Different OSD flags can be muted. All kinds of things.
Okay, so,
yeah, so it should show
it would
it.
still be reported, but it would be in that
Yeah.
category. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that would work.
Well, actually, the maintenance mode stops all OSDs and all daemons, Ceph daemons on the host, so there shouldn't be any failed Safe ADM daemons reported when those OSDs or daemons are, belong to the same host that is in maintenance mode. This shouldn't happen. That might be the result of some other underlying operational issue. I don't know, or a bug maybe.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah, if none of you have ever experienced this, then yeah, it might be a local issue, like specific to our clusters.
Yeah, or a bug. I mean, or some race condition, or I don't know, time condition somehow that might be investigated, right? Of course.
All right, I will try to reproduce on a fresh cluster and see how that works, and then we'll create a tracker for that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so I think that covers Stefan's, and then also I see the one about Ceph ADM failed daemon. Is that's the one that you guys were talking about, right? So yeah, okay, covered that one. Okay, so I think we've gotten through everything that we wanted to review progress on. So yeah, under the bullet point, attendees may propose new issues. That's where if you haven't created the trackers yet for what we discussed, paste them there so I can more easily triage them. That'll be really helpful. And thanks for those who've already done it.
While you were discussing, I also remembered that there was one more command, not CFFS related, where progress is not definite. So I just a few seconds ago filed a ticket.
Okay. Okay, so for our GW check. Okay. Thank you. And is that on our agenda? Just, I have it open, but let's also paste it here. Okay. Cool. All right, so in the interest of time, I'll go through the next things. So so the next piece I wanted to mention was, so at Cephalacon, I just talked about that we want to have more leaders of different pillars of Ceph to drive conversations. So we've had focused discussions on performance and orchestration. Those are the two that we've really we've sent surveys out about those, and which many of you filled out, and we gathered user feedback on those. But there are many other pillars of Ceph that we don't necessarily have leaders for in driving discussion. So the idea again behind like a leader of a Ceph pillar is it might involve helping us come up with surveys, but also like you would be the person who knows the most about whatever topic you're leading, and you would know what questions to ask users and where help triage or prioritize specific problems within that topic, if that makes sense. So some other areas include like quality, scalability, usability, protocols like S3 and security, and there are room for many more. Those are just the ones that come to mind. So if anybody on the call or not on the call or anybody in the community is interested in leading discussion topics with that, you can get in touch with me and we can work out what that looks like. But really the main thing would be like you might take one user dev meetup to lead that, and you would help populate the agenda of specific topics related to the pillar that you're leading. So if we wanted to have a certain theme around security, the security leader would come up with topics about what we can do to improve security around Ceph and be able to drive the discussions with Ceph users about their concerns about security and things like that. And same with quality, scalability. I know some of you have very large scale clusters, so scalability might be a very big deal for some people, and you might have really strong opinions on what Ceph can do to improve on scalability. So that's the general idea. Does anybody have any thoughts or questions or immediate interest based on what I just talked about there?
I mean, that makes sense, Laura. Totally understood. Agreed. If we can bring up the subject that we have, any operational subjects, any requests for enhancement or anything in advance, then we can bring that to the agenda, and then we can have the top-notch guys dealing with the different parts of Ceph in the call and discuss those features or operational concepts with them directly. It would be nice. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and
We'll do that.
one thing that comes to mind too is one of the pillars we would consider of Ceph is usability and operability. And many of you on this call are very concerned with, or know a lot more even than like a lot of Ceph developers would know, operating large scale clusters on a day-to-day basis, and you know what kinds of issues you're experiencing. So the idea would be to have targeted discussions around operability and usability and how we can improve that. So I'll let that just marinate. Let you all think about that. But if anybody has really strong opinions and feels like they would really like to drive and lead those discussions, definitely reach out to me.
Sure.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frederick. So the next topic, let's see. Oh yeah. So we were going to talk about Neha was going to be on the calls, but she is caught up in something else. But we were going to talk about engaging community members in early testing of releases and features. So some of you on this call, I think, are involved with the testing for Tentacle, but that's an ongoing thing that we've been doing with the community, collaboration with the community, where we're asking you all to test out new releases and features and give us early feedback. So we'll talk more about that next week. And Neha, I think I wrote next week. I meant next month. Next month we'll talk about that. And Neha will hopefully be able to attend then, and we can talk about what that involvement looks like. All right, so the next topic is from Anthony. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks, Laura. Yeah, I saw that next week comment, and I was like, "What's happening next week?" So
nothing.
Really? Thanksgiving? Yeah, no worries.
Next month.
My topic is what was that? Next month. Yeah.
I just said next month. Yeah.
My topic is very much related to what Laura was just talking about, getting community members, users more involved with the foundation. During my Cephlacon talk, I shared a link to a document for contributors who want to be involved in different aspects of the Ceph Foundation, whether it comes to becoming a Ceph ambassador or getting more involved with technical side of things, with writing documentation. It just gave people like an opportunity to say like, hey, I'm a part of Ceph and I want to be involved in this way. And then next steps will be me reaching out for a conversation to figure out like, what your skill sets are, like what are some of your strengths, like what do you want to improve on by being a part of the foundation, and then trying to nurture those strengths and weaknesses through this program. So I'm just going to share that again in the chat here. This is just an intake form. Feel free to share this with, if you feel like yourself, if you're not already involved or want to be more involved in certain aspects of the foundation, or if you know anyone on your team or your organization who wants to be more involved, please share this intake form with them. I'm also sharing the Ceph Community Engagement Survey. This was also shared during Matt's Cephlacon talk. We just want to get a temperature check of the community from a foundation standpoint, and figuring out, like, what are some things that our community members are asking for? What are their thoughts about the current state of the foundation, like, where they want things to go. So please feel free to fill these out, share them amongst your network, people who you may know who might want to get more involved with stuff, or just have like an opinion around things and they don't know, like, hey, I'm not sure where to send that to. Send them to me. I'm more than happy to chat anytime. I'm always on Slack. My email is everywhere. So yeah, I'm just here around to assist in any way I can. That's all I got. Do you want to have any questions for me right now, or any action items? I will say one thing that I really enjoyed the most about being at Cephlacon was that I could talk to people in real time and then them tell me, like, hey, you're the community manager, I have this idea. And I was like, yeah, that's a cool idea. Like, email me. And then, like, carrying those conversations. Like, that's why I've been like, that was the most fun I've had. Just like, being able to triage things in real time. So if anyone has any of those ideas like that, I'm always happy to chat. If you have anything right now you want to talk about, you have my ear for the next 7 minutes. So let me know. If not, I'll pass it back over to Laura.
Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, Anthony's been really great as our new community manager, so definitely reach out to him. He's been very, very helpful. Cool. And yeah, thanks to whoever's writing or leaving the survey links there. That'll be helpful for people to access. All right, yes, so the last topic I see, the last topic I see is, I see Casey already responded to it, but I don't know if you guys wanted to touch on that, or if maybe we can call it covered, but we still have some time, so.
No, I've already taken advantage of that. I can make it work for small objects. I'll play around with it for big objects as well. Thank you very much, Casey.
Do you want to actually describe a little bit about what's going on, because it might be helpful to somebody else on the call?
Yeah, sure. So we use bucket policy to allow non-project group members to access our Rados Gateway buckets, and we use we've started using canned ACLs in advance of the better bucket policy support, which I understand has been merged in newer versions of Ceph, but we're on Reef, and it might be at least Tentacle before it's available. So we're starting to use that, getting some good traction with that, but we've got some old objects which don't have the correct ACLs on them, so we need to touch them to add the ACL. And for multi-part large objects, the touch command wasn't working, it was timing out. And Casey has just said I can use the put object ACL API call using the AWS tool, and that looks like it may well do the job. I'll test it out on our big objects, which we're timing out before, and report back.
Awesome. Thanks, Gregory, and thanks, Casey, for responding to that. All right, I think we've gotten through all of our topics, so thank you, everybody, for a really fruitful discussion. I think we had a lot to cover. So just to emphasize, paste the all the different trackers we talked about, paste them in the agenda so I'm able to properly triage those. And Patrick is just seeing if he can join the call. I think I'll follow up with him later about what all the progress stuff we talked about for CephFS. Anyway, make sure to paste the trackers there, and I might send out an email thread about all of those issues so the developers can respond in that way. But then, yeah, aside from that, I'll see you all next month, and thanks all for joining.
See you next month.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.